Hello and welcome to another edition of Joy News Interactive with me, Bernice Abubedu. We are live on Multi TV, also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144, on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV. Well, first off, do you owe the electricity company of Ghana? If you do, please pay up now. Else you'll be given national recognition, one you wouldn't like. Do you know why? Because, well, the ECG says its customers who default should soon expect to hear or see their names on radio and in newspapers respectively. According to the company, as part of the aggressive revenue collection exercise it's embarking on, it will name and shame in order to recover its money from defaulting customers. And this has generated a lot of conversation on Facebook. John Kwame Sam says, ECG must also be ashamed of themselves. When you get a problem on your meter and even report to them, they don't come. What are you expecting a customer to do when he or she reports that the prepaid is not reading? That's a way of saying that the meter is not running. And ECG refuses to attend to him or her. I have a similar problem, and this is from John Kwame Sam. So it's for almost 1 year, and I've been going to ECG office almost every week. But they keep on saying they'll come and check, but they still not come. So if ECG is to be a private company, will I be encountering this? And he sighs. Leads to the big question of the ECG privatization, which has been in the news for some time now. But interesting perspective John brings in. And I know a couple of people I experienced that actually moved to a new area, and 1 month they wouldn't come, 2, 3. You walk up to them, say, what's happening? Why aren't you coming to do what you have to do so I can pay my bills? And they keep giving excuses. So ECG, well, we've heard you, but it's a two-way affair, you know, that you also have to do your part. So for a customer like this, who's visited your premises a couple of times to report on a faulty meter, the question is, do you really have a right to publish their name in the newspaper or on radio as a defaulting customer? Well, Nasir Hassan says, we've had this over the years. Act and stop talking. I know of a house which for about 15 years hasn't paid a peswa, and you can imagine the amount of money that house will be owing the company. Lady Lee says, enough of this talk shop. They must start from quarters, government institutions. That's a big one, the government institutions, because some of them owe the ECG a lot of money. Telcos, big companies, they take kickbacks from them. That's according to Lady Lee. I cannot independently verify. But she's saying that they should look at those bigger institutions first and not, well, ordinary, if you want to call it, citizens. Amadou Kejo says, including yourself, ECG staffs. Hey, Amadou, this is a really personal attack. But now Okaile Sakadia says, I thought all of us are using prepaid meters. No need ECG. Change all the meters to prepaid, she exclaims. And David Fianco Otri says, name and shame in the press goes with additional cost. He is actually suggesting prosecute offenders as well. Kwabna Tuntum Kamakesi says, very good. Very interesting one there if you ask me. But like a lot of people said, we've heard a lot of things, but who knows, maybe this time, you know, the ECG workers are very bent on proving that they can actually work without private investment. There's been a lot of that. So, well, maybe this is proof of that. But away from that, a civil society group, IPAS Ghana Youth Advocacy, is campaigning for safe abortion. That's okay. But the problem people have is that they're advocating that safe abortion be included in services to be accessed under the National Health Insurance Scheme. Do you agree? Well, Chumesi Amano Reno says, forget. If abortion is good, I'm sure he's typing in pidgin, and you people are saying it should be included in the National Health Insurance Scheme. I don't support it at all. Chris Tornado Labila says, well, he calls this total nonsense and says it shouldn't be tolerated at all because abortion, and okay, he brings the spiritual perspective. But Chris, what about people who aren't religious then? And well, he actually adds a note as if he knew I was going to ask that question, and says religion is very important. Salasi Kwame calls this another evil liberal organization. Very soon, he says, they'll tell us to follow bestiality. They should send their proposal to Obama in the US. But Obama doesn't seem to have any power now, does he? Ohaniba Mark Prince says this proposal is ultimately deficient. Why not speak of cancer treatment to be included on the NHIS, but rather abortion? And he says the conversation goes on and on. Abortion is one topical issue, but this group thinks that, you know what, safe abortion is the way to go, and let's put it on the health insurance scheme so everybody or every lady who wants to have a safe abortion can access it. You're watching Joy News Interactive, and I am Bernice Abubedi. When I come back, we'll be talking some more sport. Yes, you all know that I'm a Real Madrid fan, so you know definitely we'll be talking about that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And then we'll also be talking about Bukom Banku and Basti Samiri, who both hinting of a rematch. Well, will it happen? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Hey! Where the above division, who be down?
So I'm tempted to say only in Ghana. Now, this video is alleged to be of some Olympics players who had to win a particular match so they don't suffer relegation. And so the instruction, spiritual instruction, was that they walk backwards. Walk backwards. Wow. And they lost that match too. Well, anyway, let me get some of your comments on this. Bernard Kwashi says this has no nonsense. I mean, this has no sense. He says it's nonsense. Who said Juju can secure you from relegation? And Derduno says, I've wasted 1 minute of my time watching absolutely nothing. And Atokwamda Dancer says, really? This thing really works? Well, if we're using this as our sample, then it doesn't really work because, well, they lost that match. And Fela Jr. says, and they lost the game after walking backwards into the stadium. And Chumesi Amano Reynolds says, he exclaims and says, I'm afraid. And Sadat says, Asempa and size. Samal Hassan says, this is unprofessional. King David is asking if this is the whole sports stadium. I don't know. This is a video alleging that some players of Olympics had to walk backwards or were instructed, spiritually instructed to walk backwards so they don't lose a match and avoid relegation. And let's talk some sports more, but away from that. Bukom Banku lost to Basti Samiri over the weekend, and many do not believe that Bukom Banku, the legend, lost that bout. Well, if you're one of those people who think there should be a rematch, well, your prayers have been answered because Basti and Bukom have both hinted a rematch of their make or break bout, and they're saying that that is possible. Banku was stopped in the 7th round of last Saturday's fixture. For those of you who are talking about that rematch and what you'd expect from it, Chumesi Amano Reynolds says Basti will beat Bukom again because he's young and he's trained with big boxers across the world. And he's, I'm sure you're teasing Bukom Banku there because Bukom says, I'm a flesh boy instead of fresh. So he says Basti has flesh blood, but Bukom Banku doesn't train. He's always bragging. Promise Dancer says, okay, this is actually what we are discussing, and we'll move away quickly. William says, I second the rematch. I want to see Bukom Banku being beaten all over again because I couldn't watch the one over the weekend. Bring it on, Bankueba. Michael Edu says Basti failed to hit Bukom where he most needs a beating, his mouth. Oh. Anis Mohammed says, Banku, please stop. Your number one comedian of our time. Don't let Basti kill you. We like you, Banku. Stop. Please think about your life. Bukom Banku, if you are listening, this is just from somebody who has you at heart. He thinks that a lot of Ghanaians love you and want to see you alive. Sule Mohammed says, even the women at Makola want to see him beaten again. Ooh, Khalil Maestro says, Bukom Banku is a joke. Sami will beat him any day, any time. And Bonded Maunyo says, I beg, Banku would live long and continue entertaining Ghanaians. Okay, I'm sure you're also saying in a very subtle way, Banku, please stay away from Basti. After that first beating, you don't want to meet him again. Prince is asking if you want to make money for those guys. Well, we are not interested. Ruth Boafo says, has Bukom Banku prepared his will? Oh, because she thinks that if he goes again, it may not be good news. Osman Hamidu says, possible, yes, last show is the best to see who is the man. Hassan says, of course. Banku once said, as a boxer, I will fight to die. Mind Princess, Banku, you do all, but you need to train to be a great boxer. And Alfred says, no, I don't want a rematch because I still want Bukom Banku alive. Original boy Ignatius says, well, he'll be waiting. And Eddie Blaze is asking you, Bukom, please, do you want Basti to kill you? Or it's actually, do you want Basti to kill him? And James Opusanga says, yes, a rematch will do. Prosper says, of course. And Junior ends our comments on that particular one with a yes. Still in sports, Cristiano Ronaldo has won the 2017 World's Best Male Player Award. And the Real Madrid and Portugal forward beat Barcelona's Lionel Messi and Paris Saint-Germain's Neymar to the trophy. Should this end the argument about who is better between Ronaldo and Messi? But you know where I already stand. I'm a Real Madrid girl, so I guess you know what my answer will be to that question. But what's yours? And Alexander says, the race has just begun. Messi remains the best ever, no doubt about that. CR7 scored 20 and 12 La Liga and Champions League goals respectively, whereas the greatest of all time scored 37 and 11 goals in league and championship. Apia Kubi Williams says, okay, it's actually showing us a conversation that ensued between an interviewer and another person. So interviewer, who is the best player in the world? Arsene Wenger, Lionel Messi. Interviewer, who is the best player of all time? Arsene Wenger, Lionel Messi. Interesting. Abi Alaba says, question, should this end the argument about who is better between Ronaldo and Messi? Well, before we end this argument, I think we need to know the number of awards each of the players received, the number of goals, assists, both the club level and the national level. Okay, so Ali, Al Abbas, you didn't answer the question. You're just giving people a way to come to a conclusion on the question or give an answer to the question. Yaima Salih, who says, it's quite clear he's going to win the award, and the world knows that this man is a great player for both country and club, and that talk of Messi versus Cristiano is settled now with a score. Kwabna Kesse says Messi is the best ever. Ronaldo can even win the WWE, NBA and boxing award. Still Messi is the best, and he knows this. But congratulations to him. Chris Barney Santiago says, if you really want to know who is the best between them, just get some people who are not football fans, who've not been watching football. Just let them watch matches in which both of them played. I bet you 90% of them will say it is Messi they enjoy. Okay, now back to the fan side. If you take away goal scoring mechanisms of Ronaldo, then he has nothing left to give. But take away goal scoring mechanisms of Messi and he'll still thrill the fans. When Messi plays, it doesn't matter whether he scores or not, you still enjoy him. Even last season, Barca messed up, yet Messi still managed to score more goals than Ronaldo. Is that true? Is it true? Well, I hear it is. Well, let Madrid mess up like Barca did last season and see if Ronaldo will score up to 10 goals. I've just come to the conclusion that a lot of people don't like Ronaldo. I don't know why. Maybe because Messi, like someone just said, is more entertaining to watch. But hey, sometimes it's not all about the entertainment. You're also looking at poise and, you know, stamina and, you know, all the elements. Anyway, Sule Mohammed says, I'm actually not a fan of idolizing players just because they can score goals. What about the good midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers? And Mabel Maniasa says, I wonder if you would appreciate it if your parents rate your other siblings than you. Well, so Mabel is actually part of a group that think that there's no point comparing. These are two unique individuals, all right? And she says they are both better players, staying safe. Asante Kojo says, did you hear Samuel complaining? But if it's Mercy, people will complain. That's to tell you that CR7 is greater than Mercy. Okay. In other words, Asante, you're saying that this award, there was no argument about it, all right? Bikala Bills Kennedy says CR7 is the best for the moment, no doubt about that. But Messi and Neymar are equally good. Messi knew Cristiano was better than him last season and deserves the award. Africa needs to set up to produce better players to compete in these awards in years to come. Legacy Apia says, boldness, I want you, okay, actually tagging some people, Dear Sempa Jr. and Bernard Sparkles, D, J. Osajafo, Senior Andrew, Dogbe Fezaro, Ben Achampong, and your friends who are always convinced of Lionel Messi. Please, let's stop the arguments and appreciate the opportunity and the life of Cristiano Ronaldo. Thank you. Joseph Bannerman says, Ronaldo can never be compared to Messi. Can only score when others create the opportunity, but Messi would dribble to score. And Kwa Wilson says, they can give the FIFA World Cup to Ronaldo. Still, he's nowhere near Messi on the pitch. Chris Tornado says, of course, it showed Cristiano is simply above Messi. He's a fighter and a complete footballer. Therefore, applies to that. Let's just see what people think about Chris referring to Cristiano Ronaldo as a fighter and a complete footballer. Nistani says, man, chop and sleep. Just eat and sleep. And Chris says, what do you mean by complete player? Maybe you need to see a dictionary. And Chris comes back to say, complete in my post means he plays incredibly with both feet and best when it comes to scoring with the head. That's my opinion. Anyway, so well, some of your opinions shared. Interesting, but while we're talking about footballers, let me tell you, a world without journalists will be one in which people with power exploit the vulnerable. The Media Foundation for West Africa presents the West Africa Media Excellence Conference and Awards to inspire media excellence across West Africa. The conference comes off on the 27th of October, and the awards night is on the 28th of October at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel at 6:30 p.m. The awards will be telecast live here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Get ready to celebrate excellent journalism in West Africa. The West Africa Media Excellence Conference and Awards event is supported by Tallow Oil, MT and US Embassy here in Ghana, and Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Stanbic Bank and Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel. Media partners here in Ghana, Joy News, Class FM, Daily Ghana newspaper, the Finder newspaper, and several West African media outlets. So you do stick and stay with us here. Don't forget, it's at 6:30 p.m. and that date is the 28th of October. And that'll be all for this edition of Joy News Interactive. I'm Bernice Abubedi. Don't forget, we are still very interactive on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV.